We want to talk some playoff scenarios.
This can get really bad, man, because we're not going to have one or two teams dying on a hill here. There's the potential to have like 4 or 5 teams dying on a hill here. Let me paint the absolute worst DEF CON, everyone's got nukes pointed at each other scenario right now. So you're going to have a 13-0 Ohio State or Michigan. That'll be a lock, whoever that is. You have 12-1 conference champion Texas, 12-1 conference champion Bama, 12-1 UGA runner-up, undefeated Michigan or Ohio State, and then the other one is 12-1. And then 12-1 Washington, 12-1 Oregon, who is a conference champion, beats Washington in the rematch.
Yep.
12-1 Louisville, who beats FSU in the ACC championship. 12-1 FSU because FSU just lost their quarterback. So now we've got a lot of 12-1 teams, and the only guarantee is that the winner of that Big Ten championship, which is going to be Ohio State or Michigan, is in. So only one spot is locked here. Who's in, who's out?
Well, we already know the winner, Michigan, Ohio State, will beat Iowa by 40 points, and then
they'll be in. Yes. And they'll probably be the 1 seed.
So that's one spot. If Louisville goes 12-1, beats Florida State, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Florida State, that would be completely devastating. But Florida State will be out. Schedule just not good enough. And then Louisville, I'm sorry, guys. Same reason. Like you're not going to get in. Like Louisville needs absolute like nuclear chaos in order to get into the college football playoff. They're going to give it a run for its money, but they're not getting it. So I think either ACC team is out. The loser of Michigan and Ohio State, I think, is out. Like you can't put one of those two teams in. Like they've just been. The schedule is just not good enough. Ohio State, you might have an argument because they beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame win doesn't look like as good anymore. We have 3 spots remaining in the playoff with 5 teams left that we haven't eliminated.
Yep.
See this is where I think it gets tough. So the huge wrench that's like hanging up the machine right now is the Texas over Bama win from week 2. Like that is really throwing some stuff off, because if you were to just omit Texas beating Alabama, it's like not even a question. Bama would get in. But in Texas schedule, like if you take out that win, Texas schedule isn't really that great.
Yeah, and then you have the Bama head-to-head over UGA in this particular scenario. So this would automatically bump UGA down 2 spots.
See, this is why if this happens, like I don't know what the committee's going to do, because Georgia would still have a decent resume, but they wouldn't have a conference championship. All right,
but Washington and Oregon will both have amazing resumes. Because the thing, here's my thing: what if Oregon and Washington both 12-1? They both have incredible resumes. One of them's going to get left out, and they've beaten each other.
All right, well, let's just say this: I think if I'm going to say they put the conference champions in, I think Oregon and Bama are in.
Okay.
I think Oregon and Bama are in.
Which means the biggest problem, they would have to put Texas in because Texas beat Bama and they're a conference champion.
That's what I'm thinking. But then again, they can also say, okay, well, yeah, Texas had the head-to-head, but Bama won the SEC. So they have a conference championship that's elevating them. But then again, Texas also would have a conference championship. Oof. Man, so this is just tough, but I think they would put in Texas.
If this happened,
I think they'd put in Texas.
If they would do anything, I feel like they might just go with conference champions. They would pick Oregon, so it would be 1 seed. It would be 1 seed.
Michigan or Ohio State.
Then you'd have a 2 seed of probably Oregon.
I'd say Oregon.
Then a 3 seed of Texas, and then Bama would be 4.
Yeah.
So you'd have Texas, Oregon in round 1, and then Bama and Michigan or Ohio State in the first round, which would be pretty amazing. That'd be an amazing first round.
Georgia and Washington get left out. When both
Which is not fair at all.
Both of them would be very deserving.
Yeah, like Georgia and Washington, you like leaving them out. Like they're both playoff teams.
See, that would be like the committee's nightmare scenario. But then I'm looking at the Jordan Travis injury now, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Tate Rodemaker's the backup. What if Florida State is able to skate by, beat Florida, and then somehow skate by and beat Louisville? And it's like, so clearly they're not the same team that they were, but they still finished 13-0.
Let's change this up. Let's change this scenario real quick, Shub. Let's change the scenario. FSU rights the ship with backup quarterback. FSU wins the ACC, finishes 13-0. You have to put him in. You have
It's
to.
just tough because it's like FSU might be
I know, but you
clearly
can't just
showing
say
they're not as good anymore, but they still.
I know.
Yeah.
I understand.
Oh,
I understand the logic behind it, but you can't just say, "Oh,
no,
sorry, you lost your quarterback. I know you're undefeated, but I can't put you
do
in."
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't do
you'd
that
have
to
to put
them.
Florida State in. You would have
Oh.
to, even though everyone knows they would get trounced, and Florida State
Right.
would get in over a lot of teams who would arguably trounce them without Jordan Travis. Yeah, you would have Ohio State or Michigan. You would have Florida State, and then one conference champion is going to get left out. Conference champion Bama, conference champion Texas, conference champion Oregon. Someone's getting left out. It would probably be Alabama because Texas has the head-to-head. So it would probably be Oregon at the 3, and Texas at the 4, and Bama's out.
Oh, but man, like but
No SEC representative. That would be nuts.
yeah, but man, I don't know though, man, because the problem with Bama and Texas is like Texas, Bama's if Bama beats Georgia, like their resume is going to be way better than Texas overall. But it's like
I
that
know, but
one
this is where it
loss
comes into
is-
play. Like,
Ugh.
what does the committee value more? And it was in Tuscaloosa too. It's not like it was in Austin.
Right. And
They beat
I'm
Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
and I would sound like a hypocrite because even though I'm saying Bama probably has the better resume, I also think like you can't set the precedent of like not counting what happens on the field. Like you have to have these games that are actually played head to head matter. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like we play the
Otherwise,
games
there's
for a
no
reason.
point in having them. Yeah.
Right, exactly. We play the games for a reason. You have to honor what happened on the field and reward teams for actually winning the games by merit.
In this
Oh.
scenario, shoot, let's just pick a winner, a random winner. Sorry, Ohio State or Michigan fan. Just picking one, not saying you're going to lose, just picking one for the sake of the argument. I'm going to pick Ohio State. So say we have Ohio State at the 1, FSU at the 2, the only 2 undefeated teams. So
I'd say they might drop FSU to like 4. Like they might put FSU
even that
in.
undefeated.
Yeah, maybe not.
I feel like they would put him at 2 just by like a conference champion and undefeated, even if Jordan Travis is out.
Because
They
then
would do
everybody
it out
else
of
would
like
have one
respect.
loss. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then that means the only other options, if we're going by 12-1 conference champions, Texas, Bama, Oregon, you can't leave Oregon out. They're just too dang good.
No.
You can't leave them out. You have to put them in.
I think
And then
no
that
matter
only leaves
what
one spot,
happens,
Texas or Bama. So it's literally
Right.
if this scenario plays out, there is no SEC representative in the college football playoff for the first time in like ever.
and it would be nuts because the SEC champion would have like might
One
have
loss.
like one of the best resumes too, and not
Yep.
and still not get in.
Yep. You would have both Alabama, Washington, and Georgia all with one loss. Oh, and Michigan. 4 teams with one loss, not in the playoffs.
And there's just no way somebody doesn't get screwed over this year. Like somebody's
No,
going to.
there's
going to
be like at least 2 to 4 teams that get completely screwed this year.
Oh, yeah.